returned to the creek for weeks after the storm. Every night, the image of the creature's grin haunted her dreams. She tried to forget, telling herself it was a trick of the storm, the wind playing with shadows. But the marks in the snow, the way it had pointed at her, gnawed at her. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was waiting, watching from the edges of the woods. One afternoon, unable to resist any longer, Kelly drove back to the creek. The storm had passed, leaving behind a barren, quiet landscape. The air felt thin, like the earth itself was holding its breath. She parked at the same spot where she had fled weeks earlier, her heart racing despite the calm. The creek was still there, but something was off. The water was eerily still, its surface unnaturally smooth, like a mirror reflecting the gray sky. As Kelly walked closer, she noticed the ice had split open in places, the cracks forming strange, jagged patterns. It looked as if something had tried to climb out or been dragged in. Kelly's breath caught in her throat as she stepped closer to the water's edge. That's when she heard it, a soft rustling behind her, like the wind shifting through the trees. She spun around, her flashlight cutting through the gloom. For a moment, she saw nothing but the dark expanse of trees and snow. Then, a shape appeared. At first, it was barely visible, just a flicker of movement. But as her eyes adjusted, Kelly saw it clearly. The creature. It was crouched low to the ground, its long limbs twisted beneath it. The pale skin of its body shimmered in the faint light, and its hollow face turned slowly toward her. There were no eyes, just a smooth blank surface where a face should be, and that same twisted grin stretching wider than before. The creature's lips parted, revealing teeth that gleamed with unnatural sharpness. It made the same low, guttural sound, like something drowning. This time Kelly wasn't frozen. The primal instinct to run surged through her, and she turned and bolted, her legs moving faster than they ever had before. Behind her, the creature followed, its movements fluid and unnatural, like it was gliding through the snow. She could hear its breath, wet, ragged, closer, closer. Kelly didn't dare look back. She didn't stop running until she reached the road, the familiar sight of her car parked ahead. Her hands fumbled for the keys, her heart pounding in her ears. When she finally unlocked the door, she jumped inside, slamming it shut behind her. Her fingers shook as she started the engine. The snow was picking up again, thickening in the rearview mirror. She glanced back, half expecting to see the creature at her window, but there was nothing. The road behind her was empty, the trees swallowed by the storm. Relief washed over her, but it was short-lived. As she drove, she could feel the air in the car growing colder, the temperature dropping in a way that felt unnatural. Her breath fogged up the windshield, and in the corner of her eye she saw it. Just a flicker, a pale shape in the trees, moving fast. The creature was still out there, and it was following her.